Oh, it's so good to see you all here this morning. I'm so glad that we are able to join in worship this first Sunday of February as we explore our monthly theme of embodiment and sort of kick that off today. We've done a ton of music testing this week and given folks opportunities to weigh in and to let us know whether or not they can hear the music. I am hopeful today we have gotten to the source of the problem. If not, please feel free to email Emma after the service. I sent you all something in my weekly email about how to be in touch with her. Unfortunately, there's really nothing we can do during the service about some of these sound issues because we're trying to deliver the content of the service. So if you still have some issues, please feel free to email Emma after the service. But hey, welcome. Take a deep breath. It's good to be in worship with you all. Let's settle in as we enjoy our prelude from our fabulous music director, Brock Chesvold. Welcome and good morning. Welcome to the First Universalist Church of Rochester, where we are called to nurture the Spirit and to serve the community. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come here from, we welcome you. And whomever you love, we welcome you. Whatever your relationship to your body, we welcome you. We welcome all of you. It is good to be together this morning. If you are here for the first time this morning, or the second or the third time, we especially welcome you. Thank you so much for making your way to our virtual sacred space and to our online worshiping community. We have a visitors forum that can be found in the chat. And so please click on that and fill that out at your convenience so we can offer you a welcome beyond just this sacred space. As we gather this morning, we want to invite folks to pop into the chat, as people have already been doing, to offer a greeting, a good morning, a hey, how are you, and I'm here, whatever feels appropriate, whatever you prefer. We're so glad that you are here with us this morning. Welcome. Welcome to worship at First Universalist Church. Our opening hymn this morning is hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. And I figured it would be good for us to join in a hymn about the earth, as the earth is such a place to connect with our bodies, and it is the source of our bodily connection. So as we are singing our song Muted across the city of Rochester, the country, and the world, let us join in singing together hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Common humanity reminds us that each one of us has a body. Bodies that are tender, bodies that are fragile, bodies that are strong, bodies that carry us from one place to another. Bodies whose shape feels just right, and bodies whose shape we can imagine fitting us better. Bodies that are young, bodies that are old, bodies that have betrayed us, bodies we seek to love better. As we come together to create a common body, the body of a community, no matter how disconnected we may feel from one another, let us remember that our bodies are sacred. Let us remember that our bodies are our own. Let us bring our whole bodies to worship this morning. Come, let us worship together. As we light our chalice at First Universalist Church and in your own homes, will you join me in saying our chalice words in unison? May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit, and may we reach out to serve our community. Please join me in our affirmation of faith, followed by our doxology. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. We don't often get to dance in worship. Sometimes we do, but other times we are mostly still, sitting, listening attentively. So I want to invite you to do a little dance with me. It starts with reaching your hand way up into the air and then bringing it right back down and sliding it into your pocketbook, your pants, your skirt, or maybe your pajama pants, and find your wallet. It is a dance of generosity, a dance of giving. No easy dance in times like this, but isn't this church worth it? Your generosity is welcomed here. And thanks for learning this little dance with me. Please click the link in the chat to give online to First Universalist Church, or feel free to send a check into the church.
I Like Myself by Karen Beaumont, illustrated by David Cottrell. I like myself. I'm glad I'm me. There's no one else that I'd rather be. I like my eyes, my ears, my nose. I like my fingers and my toes. I like me wild. I like me tame. I like me different and the same. I like me fast. I like me slow. I like me everywhere I go. I like me on the inside too, for all I think and say and do. Inside, outside, upside down, from head to toe and all around. I like it all. It all is me, and me is all I want to be. And I don't care in any way what someone else may think or say. I may be called a silly nut or crazy cuckoo bird. So what? I'm having too much fun, you see, for anything to bother me. Even when I look a mess, I still don't like me any less, 'cause nothing in this world, you know, can change what's deep inside. And so, no matter if they stop and stare, no person ever, anywhere, can make me feel that what they see is all there really is to me. I'd still like me with fleas or warts, or with a silly snout that snorts, or knobby knees or hippo hips, or purple polka dotted lips. Or beaver breath, or stinky toes, or horns protruding from my nose. Or yikes, with spikes all down my spine, or hair that's like a porcupine. I still would be the same, you see. I like myself because I'm me. And you should love yourself because you are you and you're perfect the way you are.
Friends, I want to invite you now into this reverent time of sharing in the joys and the sorrows of this gathered community. And here I'll pull the camera down so you can see the stones and the bowl. If you would like to, as we engage in this ritual, I'll invite you to place a hand over your heart so that you may be able to listen from this heart-centered place. As I place stones into a bowl of water, I will read aloud the joys and the sorrows of our gathered community. All are invited, of course, to share in our chat, and I will do my best to read those aloud in real time, that we may hear from our entire community gathered here. So let us join in this reverent time of listening to the joys and the sorrows of this gathered community. So we have a joy here, a joy to be celebrating Lisa Gwinner's birthday, even virtually. Happy birthday, Lisa! A joy, this Tuesday I begin my journey to better vision with the first of 2 cataract surgeries, also from Lisa Gwinner, during a pandemic. Yay! Grateful for the support of my family through it all. Sending good wishes and good thoughts to you, Lisa, and to all who have been having cataract surgery. We've had a lot of cataract surgeries in this community recently. A joy from John Lukes and Carol that they got their first Moderna COVID vaccine yesterday, which is the best 73rd birthday present I got this year. Happy birthday and happy vaccinating. We have a joy from Theo Munson. Black Lives Matter has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, something for us all to be celebrating. A sorrow from MJ Curry for her friend and colleague Nancy, who broke her wrist last weekend and needed surgery. A long recovery ahead. MJ, we are keeping you and your friend Nancy in our thoughts in her healing process. We have a sorrow and then a joy from Jim Sitnick, who is in the hospital for a week with back and mobility issues. He is back home and continuing to heal. Cards and calls are, of course, welcome. So thinking of you, Jim and Norma, as you navigate this new road of being home and recovery. A joy from Janice Mary. We adopted a new kitty. No more 0-degree nights outside for her. Oh, I'm so glad she has a warm home and a safe home, especially in this time period. A young friend, Matt, from Lois, still hospitalized after 59 days. We keep a candle lit for him and for his family, and Lois, we will do the same. Thinking of your friend, Matt. I realized last week we didn't share the joy that Kitty Forbush turned 70 last week, and we really should have shared that joy. Kitty, I'm so sorry for overlooking that. What a joy. Happy birthday, 70 years, nothing to spit at. All right, and also a sorrow. So with the joys comes the sorrow, also from Kitty Forbush, who lost 2 long-term patients this week. One expected and one very suddenly, 2 lovely women. And we know how much this pains your heart, and our thoughts are with these families and all of the nurses who cared for these 2 women and who provided them care and the best life that they could in their ending days. We share a joy that it is Joyce Gilbert's birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Joyce. A sorrow for Julie Kleinhans, whose best friend's mom died last week. Thinking of your best friend, Julie. Sorry to hear that. Mirko Plushenko is dying of COVID-19. The ventilator will be removed after his children say their goodbyes. From Connie. Thinking of you, Connie and Mirko. From Shirley Malone, our daughter Virginia's best friend Sarah has been a comfort to her after David's death. Yesterday, Sarah's father passed away, the same sort of unexpected death. Oh, Shirley, thinking of Virginia and thinking of you and your family in the midst of all of the loss. A sorrow from Jean Ott, whose aunt, Mary Hutchinson Drexler, is in the process of dying. She had a heart attack a few weeks ago and then a major stroke this week. Please pray she has a peaceful passing and that her children are allowed to see her if possible. She is the last of the 3 Hutchinson siblings. My mother, Laura, Aunt Mary, and Uncle Bill all grew up here at First Universalist. Thinking of Eugene and of your family. Please lift up a friend Jane, who is in the hospital for day 18 from Elizabeth Osta and Dave Van Arsdale. Now has hospital delirium and needs to get out of there. Thinking of Jane, keeping her in our prayers. A joy from Eileen Musson. Her 5-year-old grandson Harvey is coming over today to stay overnight. Ooh, a sleepover. It's been about 4 months since he's been able to do that. What a joy, Eileen. Wishing you a good time. You and Harvey a good time. A sorrow from John and Carol that our friend lost her beloved Swiss mountain dog after only 11 years. I'm so sorry for that loss. Pet loss is Claude Bragdon expert and congregation friend Jean France has died. A sorrow from Michael and Kelly Scott, and certainly a sorrow for us all as I'm standing in this Claude Bragdon building right now. So Jean France, holding all who knew and loved them in our hearts. I will actually drop a stone into the bowl as we need to really hold in this sacred moment. This incident in Rochester that happened, I think, about 2 weeks ago with the 9-year-old being handcuffed and pepper sprayed. Let us hold this 9-year-old child's family and all those who are gathering and activating around this child to make sure that this does not happen again. And we will drop one final stone into the bowl, it's actually a shell, to represent all of the joys and the sorrows left unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. May all be held in the heart of love. And today, as we do every Sunday morning, we light a white candle to acknowledge that we are a community affected by the grief, loss, and fear of living through a pandemic. I'm just going to ask for 1 second because I ran out of matches. Hang on. Here we are. May this candle's flame hold our experiences around living through this pandemic, all of the loss, all of the hope and the joy in the vaccination, all of the forgotten names, the many who are dying without their loved ones next to them, both those affected by coronavirus and those who cannot see their families because of some of the precautions we have to take due to coronavirus. May this light be a beacon both of hope, a beacon of healing, and also may it help to remind us that we are not alone as people and families and a community affected by this pandemic. As we get into our meditation this morning, I want to invite you to sit back in your chair, in your couch, on your stool, wherever you find yourself, in whatever place you find yourself. I want to just invite you to lean back in or to ground down into your body. And if you would like to place hands over your heart, and if it feels better, you can also place a hand over your heart and even a hand over your belly, your lower belly. And I want to just invite us to breathe deeply, watching our hands rise and fall, feeling the rhythm of our breath. And I want to just invite you to really connect with that deep breathing, to continue to breathe deeply and to pay attention to the rhythm of your breath. As we just take a moment to listen to our bodies. Drawing your awareness inward. Listening to the breath, quieting the mind, allowing your attention to just flow freely within your body. Take a quick moment to allow your attention to wander around to the various parts of your body. Where does it feel tight or tense? Can you bring your awareness there to that place of tightness or tension? Is there an experience or a noticing that comes when you focus your mind on that place? A story, a memory, a knowing? I just want to invite you to sit with this for a moment, just to sit with it, and to keep the focus on the body. Don't try too hard to assign any meaning. Just notice. Let us sit with the tightness or the tension together. Releasing your awareness from that spot, allowing your attention to again flow freely within your body, continuing to breathe deeply. Where in your body do you feel expansive? Where does your body feel sort of looser or just able to kind of expand a bit? It could be the absence of tension. It could be the presence of strength. Can you bring your awareness there? Is there an experience or a noticing that comes when you focus your mind on that place? A story, a memory, a knowing? Just sit with that for a moment. Just sit with it. Don't try to assign any meaning. Just listen and sit with it for a moment. We give gratitude this day for our breath, for this life force connecting us to the earth and to all living beings. We give gratitude this day for the bodies we inhabit, in the tensions and their expansiveness, in all that these holy vessels have to teach us. We recognize that there have been moments when our relationships to our bodies have not been healthy. Moments of speaking or thinking ill of our bodies. Moments of mistreating our bodies. Moments when we forgot or ignored our body's needs. We celebrate the times when we have been able to listen, to be attentive, to provide care for the bodies we inhabit in this lifetime. Let us be grateful for exactly where we are in this moment, in this body, in this time, right now. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. And as we enter into some shared and imperfect silence together, let us continue this spiritual practice of slowing in to listen to our bodies, allowing the breath to flow through us, to move through us, to show us what we are experiencing in this home of ours. Let the silence carry us into our bodies. Our hymn of contemplation for the month of February is hymn number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. Let us sing together as we continue to give gratitude for the breath of life.
I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in,
Friends, this morning I actually have a different kind of reading to share with you all than what I would normally share on a Sunday morning. The video I am about to share is from my brother, Brian Campbell, who is a dancer and a choreographer. In 2008 and 2009, Brian made pieces focusing on slow movement and the relationship between performer and audience. This piece, Study for Study, was performed in our hometown of New London, Connecticut, and I am delighted to be able to share some of his work with you all, especially since he doesn't live here in the United States, and we never really get to do this. So here we go, a piece from him called Study for Study.
não sou o primeiro, mas sou pioneiro. Nas áreas de trabalho, forte e verdadeiro. O lobo está aí, não vai desistir. Levanta a sua luta pra não dividir. O lobo está aí, não vai desistir. Levanta a sua luta pra não dividir. Outra peça de ferida ao longo do tempo, sua verdade, a sua raça em todos os momentos. A ideologia é unificar, se temos tantas coisas para conquistar. A ideologia é unificar, se temos tantas coisas para conquistar. Competência dividida ao longo do tempo, solidária a sua raça em todos os momentos. A ideologia é unificar, se temos tantas coisas para conquistar. A ideologia é unificar, se temos tantas coisas para conquistar. Oh, now, oh, now, oh, now,
it can feel like a dangerous and almost threatening issue, exploring embodiment. What will be asked of us? What might we uncover that we didn't want to acknowledge? For some of us, our bodies have been sites of trauma and abuse. For others of us, we have always longed for a different body. Perhaps you struggle with the changes to your body as a result of aging or a health condition. Perhaps you were not born into the body that fits your gender identity, and all of the body positivity stuff folks keep going on about feels off. Accepting your body as it is might not be the path toward freedom. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to stay in our heads, to stick to the spiritual and theological exploration of the mind, because the body is fraught with so much. But this month, we have decided to explore the body. Embodiment is our theme for February, because right about now, we are almost into a year of this pandemic, almost a year of no longer taking part in the embodied ritual together in the space where I stand, of not sitting next to one another in our pews, in our shared space. And all of this meeting online over video software has so many of us sitting still, keeping our views of others and of ourselves from the shoulders up. Feels like a ripe time to check in with our bodies as sites for theological exploration, sacred sites even. Getting into our bodies means getting to the ways we view honestly, the ways we view honestly our whole selves. Getting into our bodies asks us to own honestly where we have cared for our bodies and where we have ignored them. It asks a different kind of listening from us. Listening to the muscle ache, the tension, the expansion, the stillness, the movement, to see what our bodies are telling us about our lives, our values, our emotions, even our beliefs. When my cousin, Matthew, went to see my brother perform a version of this dance piece that was done entirely silently, where he only moves 7 times in the first 6 minutes, the person my cousin was sitting next to broke out in nervous laughter partway through the performance. You can hear it at the beginning of Brian's performance, the coughing, the wondering what's going on, the child asking their mom what they're doing here. Isn't this a dance performance? It's just so deeply uncomfortable sometimes to go somewhere where we expect movement and to see stillness. At this time in his career, my brother Brian was having a bit of fun with slow movement and exploring the relationship between the performer and the audience. As folks watched him be still, the discomfort and the tension rose in the room. We had come to see a dance performance, hadn't we? Why isn't he moving? Was this a waste of our time? I decided this morning to go easy on you all and showed the version of his dance that had at least a little music to it, though he's often not exactly moving to the beat, still embracing those slow movements throughout. In this moment, I think his focus on slow movement has a message for us. I think his dance performance has something to tell us about paying attention to our bodies, about slowing down enough to listen. Sitting with the discomfort of slow movements, sitting with the tension of stillness long enough to discover what is going on in our own bodies. And though you will not often hear me say it, I was inspired to return to this dance piece by an article from the New York Times that one of you shared with me this week. An article by Gia Corliss entitled "Slowing Down to Feel: Moving Our Minds Around Our Bodies," from January 22nd of this year. Her article gets to the heart of getting into our bodies. She writes a bunch about somatic practices and yin yoga, techniques to slow down our movements and really pay attention internally to how we are in our bodies, to where we hold tension, and to what we can release. She writes about how winter isn't usually her season, how living in New York City, her most difficult time is at dusk, in these small apartments, when the sun is no longer out. And then she goes on to explain, we can use movement as a way to look inward. Through stillness and slowing down, we can create a rich sense of space by moving our minds around our bodies. Slowing down can feel like freedom, and for me, that's a good antidote to dusk. There are levels, but slowing down to feel isn't a static act. It's about shifting to a more internal place. The hope is that you emerge from a somatic practice and bring some of that awareness into your everyday life. I know I have. In a time when it seems we have little control, having agencies over our bodies and our internal world is a kind of power. By engaging in a somatic experience, you come to realize that these practices are not just about creating flexible bodies, flexible minds as well. To get into our bodies is to use our minds to explore the terrain. No need for high-impact cardio, but rather to slow down and to pay attention to how we are using our muscles, to our stance in a particular moment, even to the ways we are sitting in our chair right now. I found this helpful in thinking about getting into our bodies because I feel like this is a way that we can all do that with our varying levels of temporarily abled bodies and disabled bodies. This feels like something that can acknowledge the limitations of our bodies while also bringing more freedom. This slow movement invites us to pay attention to how we stand, how we breathe, where our tension is, and how through breathing we can release some of the tension inside of us. A different way of listening that doesn't happen with the ears, but rather happens as a whole body sensation. So let's just try something real quick. Let's slow into this moment right now together. Get still right where you are, right as you are, and just pay attention to your breathing. Breathe, pay attention to that breath. Pay attention to your posture. If you are like me, your shoulders are likely a little slumped over. You know, we're here over Zoom. There's no need to pay attention to our posture. Likely you were in your living room or in your kitchen or just a room in your home. Let's pay attention to our breathing now. And now I want to invite you with me to square your shoulders, to sit up straight, to move your neck to make sure it is in alignment with your spine, to hold your head sort of directly up and over. And I want to invite you to breathe deeply now. To pay attention to the way the breath is moving through your body. Does it feel different? Is there a different sensation or a different way of breathing when your shoulders are squared, when your head is held up, when you're sitting in alignment? Sometimes it's just about a different paying attention. Thank you for trying that with me. Sometimes it's about a different way of just paying attention to our bodies. As we explore getting into our bodies, I have to own that I feel the allergy to exercise already rising within me. Today's call to get in our bodies so often is accompanied with an exercise program, doing yoga over Zoom, finding ways to keep our bodies fit and in shape, finding ways to stay strong and active, even though we are in the midst of a pandemic. I shared this past week on my Facebook page an image with a stick figure carrying a big rock on their back. And the rock contains these words: "The cold of winter plus a lack of sunlight, plus lockdown, plus the uncertain future, plus the whole of last year generally, plus the unrelenting news cycle, plus that email you've been putting off, plus the lack of human contact, plus some other stuff, though it doesn't quite use that word, you can't quite put your finger on. And the stick figure is saying, I can't work out why I'm so tired lately. Getting into our bodies is not about adding another thing to our to-do list. I hardly think you came here to continue to add more and more onto your plate on a Sunday morning. And I hardly think it is my job to tell you how to be more productive in your bodies. There are plenty of messages out there that already reinforce the negative stereotypes of activity for the sake of living in a, quote, healthy, end quote, body. Embodiment is not about how we are all going to get healthy by continuing to run and exercise through the winter. And as a church, we are called to honor all bodies wherever they are. So to be honest, not all of our bodies are designed for movement in this way. Our shared theologies in their most aspirational form call us to see our bodies as sacred sites. Unitarianism to recognize we are all part of one body, and what affects one affects us all. Universalism to affirm that however we feel about our bodies, love wins each and every single time, a love that asks us to care for these sacred vessels to the best of our ability, recognizing that what that love looks like is determined by the unique gift each of our bodies are to each of us. One of the ministers I learned from in my formative years in seminary, Reverend Jim Mitulski, served the Metropolitan Community Church of San Francisco, California throughout the 1980s and into the early 1990s. For folks who are unfamiliar with the Metropolitan Community Church, it is an entirely LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning church with its roots in Pentecostal Christianity, but with its branches in the sort of ever-expansive expression of Christianity. Throughout his years of service there, Reverend Jim Mitulski buried about half of the congregation in the midst of the HIV/AIDS crisis. People whose bodies did not matter enough to the government to invest in research for a cure. Gay and bisexual and transgender people who were left to die as a punishment for the supposed sin they were living in. When Jim Mitulski offered communion in his congregation, this sacred time of ingesting bread and wine as symbols in their tradition of the body and the blood of Christ, he said, he would hold up the host and say, "This is the body of Christ." And the body of Christ has AIDS. A way to acknowledge the sacredness of the bodies present for worship that morning. A way to say that if one part of our collective body is sick, the whole body is sick. And that feels like a theological statement to me. If one fraction of us are sick, we are all sick. If one fraction of us are sick, whatever higher power we believe in is likely sick as well, suffering with us. I don't want to draw a false equivalent here between the AIDS crisis of the 1980s and this pandemic we find ourselves in. But I wonder what this communion practice has to say to us today. If one part of the body is sick and the whole rest of the body keeps trying to push forward with life, keeps numbing themselves to what's going on, digs deeper into busyness, can isolate themselves so they don't have to face the suffering, continues to move forward at a rapid pace while others are left behind to die. What kind of a collective body do we find ourselves in today? Are we willing enough to slow down so that we can listen to our whole body? Not just the one we ourselves inhabit, but also the larger collective body of which we are all a part. Are we able to slow our movements enough to pay attention to the pain, the tension, the breath, the movement, If we are, in fact, gathered here in one strong body, as the hymn tells us, what does it mean for me to slow down so that others have a chance to heal? So that we all have a chance to recognize the honesty of our suffering. To be in our bodies, to be in our collective body is painful and honest work. And I imagine it's not something we can do each and every single day, each and every single moment of each and every single day, that's for sure. But I wonder about the practices that you engage in that are helpful to you to get into your body. What helps you to slow down and pay attention? Are there things you do in your day-to-day lives that help you to listen to your body or to the collective body? In regular practice, I believe we can find our way towards deeper awareness of the values we inhabit, of the beliefs at our literal and physical core. I believe that in our bodies, we can find our stories, our power, and our healing. As we continue our exploration this month, I wish you slowness. I wish you the kind of slowing down that helps you to listen to what is at work in your body. I wish you deep attention to your movement and what you are holding. I wish you an acknowledgement of what your body needs and how to better love and honor this sacred vessel you inhabit. And may we find space to honor our collective body by slowing down. Amen. Blessed be. And may it be so. Friends, as we close our service this morning, our final hymn is hymn number 55, Dark of Winter. It just seems appropriate in February. We can only use this hymn 3 months out of the year here in Rochester. We invite you to remain muted and sing out joyfully from home, again creating a collective song from wherever we find ourselves.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fear arise, let your peace flow through me.
Friends, as we extinguish this flame, our chalice flame here at First Universalist Church and in our own homes, let us please say our chalice extinguishing words together. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice. taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. And I want to just invite folks now, as you are able to just shift into gallery view so that we may be able to see one another, so that we may connect with the faces and with the bodies present here, and take part in this important embodied ritual, which we have still not stopped doing in the midst of this pandemic. Let us reach out to the edge of our screens and connect with one another, and just take a moment to feel that connection with each other. May we know that though these hands may not reach out physically for other hands, that this is still an embodied community, that these connections are still sacred. May we remember in the weeks ahead to slow down, to pay attention, to listen deep, to listen within us for an ever deeper, ever growing love of our bodies just as they are. Let us hold these vessels as sacred, and let us hold our love of them as sacred. May we know as we go forward that we are loved, and may we bring that love wherever we go, to whomever we may meet in the days ahead. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. Dear friends, let us listen to a beautiful, jazzy postlude from Brock Chesvold. As we type in the words in the chat, I am slowing down to get into my body. Brock has provided some fun, jazzy music for us, so if you want to have a little dance party at home, go for it.